year goals review workshop. I normally do this one at the end of each year sometime in order to get the process going of helping individuals get their goals together for the new year. It's like this year went by so fast. I'm pretty sure people say this every year, but it's already December. It doesn't feel like December to me. Maybe it feels like December to you. I was just setting my goals for this year, and I did the activities that we're going to be going through this evening myself about 2 weeks ago. So I'm very excited to share them with you. As always, though, let me jump into housekeeping really quickly, and then I'm going to go into the main content. And I am taking notes so that I can put the chapters in there for you. So housekeeping item number one, as always, is going to be interaction. As I'm going through the content and the information, if you have any questions, comments, experiences, go ahead and drop those in the comment section, in the chat section. If you are watching this live or on replay, it doesn't matter. If you're watching this on the replay, you can still drop your questions. I will definitely answer them for you. If you're watching live and you've been here before, then you already know I have a plan. I'm looking at my notes down here, so I have everything to keep us on track, and I'm very good about keeping up with myself while also answering your questions. I want to make sure that everyone who comes to any of my workshops, that you get exactly what you came for today, okay? So if you do have questions, let me know. Housekeeping item number two is going to be sharing is caring. Just like you're trying to grow, I am trying to grow. If you're watching this video on the replay on YouTube, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. It's a free way to support me and let YouTube know that you like what I do, and maybe they'll share it with someone else. If you all are over here on Instagram, go ahead and hit that arrow in the lower right hand corner of your screen and invite a friend or two on in here, especially if you know that your friend is interested in self-care and personal development. If you and your friends have been talking about getting your goals and getting your life and getting your money and your love life and everything together for the next year, then maybe they need this information. So don't be a hater. Don't be stingy with the information. Go ahead and spread the love, okay? My third housekeeping item is going to be Sacred Sunday Space in the Dark Art Self-Care Series. You all know this is my private self-care workshop that I host through Zoom at least twice a month. We already had our first session for this month, but we do have another one coming up. And I'm planning a special live workshop on December 30th for those who are in Sacred Sunday Space or the Dark Art Self-Care Series. And it's going to be called Manifest 2024, and I'm going to cover, well, today is basically day one of that workshop series, helping to prepare everyone to get to that space where their goals, their manifestations, major manifestations, minor manifestations are completely outlined. But not just that, the way you're going to structure your year, and we're going to talk about that today. What I often find is that people create all of these New Year's resolutions in January, and then by February they've forgotten them. By March they don't even care anymore. So it's like by December, now it's December. Think back to January or last December when you set your goals for this year. Do you even remember what those were? You know, so it's not just about identifying and outlining the goals. If you really want to make it to the finish line, it's about structure, and it's about consistency, and it's about balance. How can you create not only the goals, but the framework to get you to the finish line? Okay, so I'm going to be going over all of that on December 30th, and it's going to be like, we're going to be doing a thing, and we're going to put everything together for 2024 in one night, and it's going to be amazing. So if you would like to join, if you would like to be there, go ahead and check out Sacred Sunday Space or the Dark Art Self-Care Series, and I will put, both of those are through my Patreon, and I will put the link to that in the description box. Item number 4 on housekeeping is going to be the free Fall and Winter Self-Care Guide. I'm going to include that in the description box below as well. If you're over here on Instagram, you can check in the link in my bio. It's there. But it's basically a guide that I have put together to help you create your own self-care practice that will nourish and nurture you throughout the fall and winter. It has tons of suggested activities organized by like emotional stressors, mental stressors, physical stressors, etc. It also has a daily journaling routine that you can do in the evening for self-care. Goal achievement is really everything rolled into one, and it helps you also check in on yourself emotionally and mentally. So it's a quick thing that you can learn to do in your journal. It may take 1 to 2 pages each night throughout the fall and the winter, just to make sure that you are in balance. And then at the end, it has an additional resources section that has links to tons of free guided meditations, EFT sessions, yoga nidras, journaling activities, and other self-care tutorials. So it's free 99. Go ahead and grab that. You don't want to miss it. And it's going to really set you up. You really, here on Higher Alignment, we talk a lot about goal achievement and doing. In the fall and winter, I see that it's very important to engage in practices of non-doing, for nurturing, for self-care, in order to rest, to rejuvenate your nervous system from all of the activity that you've been doing all year. And people wonder why they still feel overwhelmed or overworked, and they're just burnt out. You have to learn to rest when it is time to rest, and to go when it's time to go. So now's the perfect time to rest, when nature is taking her rest. And I've put together that free fall and winter self-care guide to help you out. So go ahead and check that out. Also, last thing, the end of the year review workbook. That's what we're going to be working out of today. I am going to, actually, I normally am on my computer inside of my own workshop. That way, let me turn this down. That way I can see the comments and drop the links in there. I'm like, something feels different. I've been on vacation. So give me just a moment. I am pulling up the workbook and I'm going to drop it in the chat for you all. And you want to go ahead and grab that workbook. That's the one that we're going to be working out of basically all this month. And let me grab that. And if you are on Instagram, it's in the link in my bio. So while I'm doing this, you can feel free to log out of the live. Go ahead and tap the link in my bio, grab that, and then rejoin. You can pull the workbook up on your laptop, on your computer, on your tablet, and then join back in here on your phone. And I did put it on sale for 50% off. So it is $11.11 versus $22.22. It's basically $10. That's cheaper than lunch. So there should be really no reason why anybody who's coming to the workshops all this month doesn't have the workbook, because, it's there for you. So go ahead and pull up your workbook. Let me tell you how many pages it is. It looks like on here is 34 pages. It contains all the activities, exercises, resources that we're going to be going through over the next month. It's organized by the 7 areas of life, which is what we're going to be talking about, the framework that I'm going to introduce you to in just a few minutes. So it is organized. I think that the 7 areas of life is a great framework to use for self-care and personal development, because many times when you ask someone, what do you want to improve about your life, or what do you want to change about your life, what's it under? What do you mean, my beautiful chaos? Can you tell me what's it under? What do you mean? Many times when people say, I want to improve my life, or I want to change something about my life, it can be very difficult. Well, there are different links. I'm not sure which one to click. It is the one that I just dropped it in the chat. I'll drop it again. Give me just a moment and it will take you right there. So I just dropped it in the chat for the for YouTube. If you're on Instagram, if you tap the link in my bio, it's going to be called the End of Year Review Workbook. So it's called the End of Year Review Workbook. I just dropped the link in the chat on YouTube. I'll also put it in the description box, and on Instagram, it's in my bio. but it's organized through by the 7 areas of life. There are activities and journaling prompts in each area in order to really help you excavate your current life experience and then discover what it is that you really want to do moving forward. And it does that by going through your successes, failures, and major lessons, major experiences from 2023. And we're going to be, basically diving into that this evening. Hello, Choice. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for coming in and blessing us with your beautiful energy. So if you have your workbook, if you have your pens, your papers, notebooks, tablets, recording devices, whatever you need for the workshop this evening, and you are ready to roll, go ahead and drop me number 8 in the comment section and let me know. If you turn the number 8 sideways, that's the infinity sign. It lets me know that we're both on the same page, that you're picking up what I'm putting down, that you're smelling what I'm stepping in, okay? So I just want to make sure that we are all ready and set up before I move forward. If you don't know who I am, if this is perhaps your first time here, maybe someone invited you here, allow me to briefly introduce myself. My name is Aaron. I'm a certified metaphysical life coach, mindfulness meditation practitioner, and mindset guru, and I'm here to give you the tips, tools, and techniques that you can use in order to create a positive shift and transformation in your life. Tonight is the workshop on reviewing, reviewing your goals for 2023. We're going to talk about the 7 areas of life and really how to reflect back so that you can move forward, okay? So let me go ahead and drop this for the main content. Hopefully you all are ready to roll. So what I want to do is quickly talk about the 7 areas of life, okay? The 7 areas of life. What I want you to do is go ahead and write these down. The first area in the 7 areas of life is going to be health and fitness. So go ahead and write that one down, health and fitness. Next, you have relationships, then career, finance. I'm trying to give you time to write them down. Career, finance, health and fitness, relationships, career, finance, self-care, personal development, and spirituality. Actually, I said self-care, I meant recreation. So these are the ways, go ahead and write those down. These are the ways that you're going to basically identify what specifically it is that was your focus for this year, what it is that you want to work on for next year, because we want to make sure that we're targeted. Another way that we can ensure that we get to the finish line is by making sure that our actions and our energy are targeted. And the 7 areas of life just makes it easier for you to identify what you feel is going right, what you feel is going wrong, what you feel could be improved in your overall experience of life. Life is a very general term and it can mean different things to different people. So you want to excavate that and really pinpoint what do these different things mean for you. So even right now, what I want you to do is remind yourself of your goals for 2023. Take a few moments and go ahead and remind yourself of your goals for 2023. Think back to January. Maybe you wrote it down. Maybe you have it in a journal. Maybe you have it in a planner. Think back to what you said you wanted to accomplish for this year. If you cannot remember or you didn't write down what you wanted to accomplish from the beginning of the year, think about what are your major 3 successes from this year. That's what I want you to do. So I'm going to give you a few moments to go ahead and write those down. Either write down your top goals that you had for yourself this year, or write down your 3 major successes that you had for yourself this year. And go ahead and open up your workbook to page 1. So I'm going to give you a moment to do that. And I'm down here on my computer, y'all, so you already know how I do it. That's why you see me on the screen like that. So If you didn't remember what you set for yourself or you didn't write them down, that's perfectly okay. Just think about what are the top 3 things that you are proud of yourself for this year. What did you accomplish? 3 major successes, 3 things that you feel like you did well this year that really make you smile. And then what I want you to do is go ahead and remind yourself of 3 lessons. So lessons come in various forms. So this could be you failing to meet or to succeed in one of the goals that you set for yourself. This could be a setback. This could be a setback or a challenge that you experienced in 2023. It could be an unexpected shift, something that just, boom, fell out of the sky and turned your life in a way that you did not expect it, and where you did not want it to go. So the first thing that you did was write down 3 successes, and then I want you to write down 3 lessons. Okay, write down 3 successes, or write down 3 goals that you had for yourself at the beginning of this year. And then the second thing that I want you to do is write down 3 lessons that you had from this year. While you're doing that, what I'm going to do is I'm turning to page 1 in the workbook. If you don't have the workbook, this is the perfect time to go ahead and grab it. It's the end of the year review workbook. We're going to be working out of it for the entire month of December and maybe even into January. It contains more than 30 pages of activity, exercises, information. It's organized into the 7 areas of life what we're going through, and it's going to help you really take the information that we're going through in the workshops and personalize it, customize it just for you and your situation and what you're going through in life right now. So I'm gonna read from page 1. Let's actually talk about failure in resolutions, because we want to make sure that we do something different next year. We want to get to a new place in life, and that's going to require doing new things. So you've already written down your 3 successes, your 3 failures, and now we really want to excavate this information to see what those lessons are. What is it that we want to carry into 2024 with us, or into the next year whenever you're watching this? And what is it that we have learned that we want to leave behind? So maybe you had certain goals for your maybe you had certain goals that you had set for yourself this year. Maybe you had certain intentions, and those things did not work out exactly the way that you expected them to. So that's where we're really going to start. So from page 1 in the workbook, many of us set out to create these lofty New Year's resolutions: lose 50 pounds, gain 50 pounds, find a new partner, make more money, start a business, move across the country, whatever. But these are just wishes if we don't have a plan. How many of us develop a plan when we create those resolutions? Failure to create a plan is a plan. Failure to create a plan is failure waiting to happen. Think about what you told yourself in January that you'd accomplish this year. Did you create a plan, or did you just write it in your journal and then close the book, hoping the divine would make it happen with no action on your part? Many people do the latter. So I have 4 reasons for you why people typically fail to reach their New Year's resolutions. If you're thinking back now, it's December, you're thinking back to January, like, dang, I had all this time to accomplish these goals, and now it's December and I'm here and I realized that really what I wanted to do, I didn't do, and now there's no more time. There's no more time in this year, but there's you're set up for the perfect 2024 though. But let's think about the top 4 reasons why New Year's resolutions fail, so that we make sure that we can look back on what your specific situation is. Did you engage in any of these? How did it or did it not work out for you? And how you can adjust or shift or change moving into the new year, you know? So number one is going to be failure to create a well thought out and organized plan. In the Manifest 2024 workshop that I'm going to be doing through Patreon, this is what I said in housekeeping that I wanted to help people really figure out. Most people are used to making a vision board, doing the creative activities, or making a list of their desired manifestations and things like that. But I feel like one of the main reasons people don't reach their goals is because you just generate a list of things that you want, or generate a list of things that you want to do, but you don't actually have a plan to put those goals into action. And what is included in a plan? The steps that I'm going to take to get from where I am to where I want to be. What I'm going to do if not really if, but when I encounter obstacles or failures or setbacks, because you can't expect that this is going to be just a smooth road all the way to the end. If you're thinking that, then you're setting yourself up for failure as well. You have to expect and plan for challenges and setbacks. You have to know that they're coming. Don't let them catch you off guard. You want to have a structure to it. Do I want to change goals every month? Do I want to work on certain goals in certain seasons? Am I in business? Am I a business owner and I want to set certain goals in certain financial quarters of the year? Do I want to work by the sun sign? Do I want to work by the moon sign? Like, how am I actually going to make sure that what I say I want to accomplish in January, that I actually remember to do that throughout the year, and by December I remember what it is I said in January, so I can reflect. You know, it's kind of like a full circle moment, because we're here right now. So if you did this last year, already at the beginning of this workshop, I told you to pull out those resolutions, those goals that you set for yourself last year. If you did this last year, it should be easy for you to identify what this is. But you definitely want to have a well thought out and organized plan that includes your goals. Over here on Instagram, my phone is already going live, so what I'm gonna do is go ahead and shut my phone down. I mean, my phone is going dead, so I'm gonna shut this down. Okay. Now I don't remember what I was saying, but I know I was talking about failure to create a well thought out and organized plan. This is definitely something that you want to do, and you want it to include everything. You want your plan to include everything that you're going to need. Your intentions, your goals, how you're going to do it, when you're going to do it, what are you going to do if there are setbacks, you know, etc., etc. Reason number two is because you think it's a sprint versus being a marathon. Many people, I'll read what I wrote in the workbook. Self-transformation takes time and patience. It's not an overnight process, especially if you want the change to be lasting. A holistic change includes body, mind, spirit, and energy. This means letting go of old habits that are ingrained in you. When we think about personal development and self-transformation and just getting your life together, I often think about like a top-down approach versus a bottom-up approach. Top-down, those bigger things are going to be like what you see. Many people see things in life and their perspective is particularly negative oriented. So they're looking at their life and seeing things that they don't like. They don't like the relationship that they're in. They don't like how they look. They don't like how they feel. They don't like the money that they're making. And so these are the things that they want to change. But up underneath those manifestations are habits, activities that you habitually engage in. And beneath those habits are beliefs. And beneath those beliefs are thoughts. So you have to realize that self-transformation is a big process. And if you want it to be a lasting change, you have to shift everything that's in this triangle. Shift everything that's from the actions, the habits, the thoughts, the beliefs, everything. That way you are going through this holistic process, this holistic way of transforming yourself, and it will stick. If you just try to cut off, like people say, like the roots, getting it by the roots. If you get it just by the branches or the petals, it will just grow back into something different. That habit, you get rid of one habit, but you haven't dealt with the beliefs that are beneath that, it'll just transfer into a different habit, into something else that you didn't want to do or didn't mean to do. So understand that it's a sprint. Understand that it's not a sprint. It's definitely a marathon. Number 3, we already talked about this one. You don't account for obstacles and challenges. A quote, a saying that I really love is, obstacles are the path. When you think about those challenges and the things that come up to stop you, they really are showing you your golden opportunities. The next place you have for learning, the next place you have for growing, sometimes you may say, I don't even know how I'm going to get there from where I am. But if you start thinking about the obstacles and the challenges that are coming up, they're really like little stepping stones. And you can step on each one of those obstacles and step on each one of those challenges and walk your way from where you are to where you want to be. But you have to expect that those are going to come up and you have to account for them. So how would you get that process started? By reviewing the failures that you had from this year and seeing how you failed, why you failed. Were there emotional decisions that you made? Was it from a lack of resources? Did you not have enough motivation or inspiration? Did you not have enough support to get where you wanted to be? Did you go too fast? Did you go too slow? Sometimes people skip over the basics. It will be different for each person. It's going to be different per each person and per each situation. But you want to look at what obstacles and challenges defeated you and then plan for them to come back. That way they don't catch you off guard and they won't defeat you again, and you will walk your way all the way to the finish line. Number 4, you're focused on the outcome instead of the process. And it's very interesting because I was talking about this with a friend today. She said she saw a quote that I wrote, "My effort is my success." And that is an affirmation that I often use for myself when I get focused on the outcome instead of being focused on the process. Because when you're focused on the outcome, it can put a lot of pressure on you. You're doing all of this work and maybe things aren't shifting or aren't turning exactly in the way that you wanted them to be, or exactly in the way that you envisioned them, or when you wanted them to happen. So you feel like, dang, I'm doing all of this and I'm not seeing what I want to see. Sometimes you're not going to see what you want to see immediately. When you think about fruit trees or apple trees, you plant the seed, then it grows into a seedling, then it grows into it's like a sapling, and it goes through this whole process of even being a tree, going through multiple seasons, gaining leaves, losing leaves, things happening before it is even able to produce any fruit. So sometimes you may have something that you have planted, and because you're so focused on the outcome, you're not giving enough attention to the present moment in the process. It will happen. It will get there. If you have a plan and you work that plan, and the plan that you had was a good one, it will get there. You will get there. So that's why we're going through the workshops that we're doing now in the month of December, to make sure that you have that plan. So all you have to do is work that plan. Okay. So hopefully this makes sense. Let me go back over to my notes. So, yeah. So the things that I want you to think about, those 4 reasons for failure, and just think about, did you, in any of the failures that you wrote down in the questions that I asked you to write down at the beginning of the workshop, did reasons 1 through 4 account for why that failure happened? And then another thing that I want you to do, and I'll review this really quickly, is think back to the 7 areas of life that I listed for you, and I'll list them for you again in just a moment. And I want you to take a few moments and think about the 3 goals, the 3 successes that you wrote, and the 3 lessons that you wrote, and organize those into one of those 7 areas of life. And I want you to think about which areas were most important to you this year. Whether you failed, whether you succeeded, it doesn't matter. Just like, what were you engaged in? What were you working on this year? What areas of life were you operating in? So if you missed it and you weren't here, write them down. Okay, write them down. The first area of life is going to be health and fitness. Number 1 is health and fitness. Number 2 is relationships. Relationships. Number 3 is career. Career. Number 4 is going to be finances. Number 5 is going to be personal development. So this is like those goals that you have for yourself just for the sake of having goals. Sometimes they can bleed, sometimes personal development can bleed into other areas of life, but it may be something that you want to do just for you. You know, you want to improve something about yourself. You want to learn a new skill or a new task or whatever, just for you, just for your own intrinsic well-being. Personal development. Number 6 is going to be spirituality or religion. Some people have very active spiritual or religious lives, and they want to dive deeper into that. And, you know, that can be something that's very motivating and inspiring as well. So maybe you have some goals that you were or are working on in that area. And then the last area is going to be recreation. This is one that I think that people often forget about, but I like to remind myself, and I like to remind you, we're not doing all of this work just to work, and die. We're here to enjoy the fruits of our labor. Right now, you're in the process of reviewing your 2023 and contemplating what it is that you want to achieve for 2024. Ultimately, why? So that you can enjoy your 2024. Like, you can even think about that. Like, how do I want to enjoy my 2024? If goals and intentions seem a little bit too heavy for you, think about, what am I going to be doing for myself and my personal well-being that is going to allow me to enjoy 2024 to the fullest extent that I can? You know, how can I pull in those moments of joy? How can I pull in those moments of bliss? How can I pull in those moments of happiness? How can I make sure that I am consistently in that place day after day? What is it that I want to do or need to do in my life to be in that place, in that perspective? Okay, so think about that, and you have the 7 areas of life. Figure out which areas were you operating in the most in 2023 and contemplate, am I sufficiently satisfied in those areas of life? Do I want to explore other areas of life? Do I feel like continuing to explore where I am, is that going to lead me to increased harmony and well-being? So say, for example, say you had a goal of manifesting a partnership this year. and that did not work out. You wanted a boo thing, you still don't have a boo thing. It's fine. A lot of us, I still don't have a boo thing. You know, I don't think that was in my goals for this year, but maybe that was in your goals. And so that was something that you really, really wanted, but over your not having succeeded at that goal, you discovered how good of a time you can have with yourself and the things that you like to do and the foods that you like to eat and the activities that you like to engage in and the places that you like to hang around and the people that you like to be with, outside of if another person or a lover or a partner was there, you know, kind of shifting the way that I would behave or that I would think. So maybe this was a year of learning to love yourself. Oh my goodness, y'all, I lost my train of thought. I got so carried away in my example. But I was talking about what areas in life is most important for you. Oh, reviewing your lessons. So you review your lessons, and y'all, I completely lost my train of thought. I was so busy thinking about the relationship. Hopefully someone manifested a relationship. Let me look back at my notes so I can get myself back on and figure out where we are. Okay, so what area in life is most important to you right now? Figure out what areas were you operating in. Oh, and I remember. Do you want to continue moving in those areas moving forward? If you found that trying to manifest a partnership really wasn't working for you, that was creating extra stress for you, and you found that your energy was better directed in another area of life, then maybe you want to go ahead and solidify that shift and say, you know what, in 2024, I'm going to work on X, Y, or Z because I can already see that that's where my energy is leaning me. That's the direction I'm moving in, and I want to capitalize on what's going on already naturally in my life right now. So you can begin to contemplate your 2024 by reviewing your successes, your failures, and your lessons from 2023. If you have the workbook, go ahead and scroll down. You see on page 3, it begins the self-exploration prompts. It says, let's start with looking at goals that you set for yourself and what didn't happen the way that you want, why it didn't happen, and how you can do things differently going into the new year. So I just want to show you what's in here. So continue scrolling down and you'll see that it is organized in the 7 areas of life. So the first section says, this section is divided into the 7 areas of life. It gives them. Use each page and consider the top goals that you set for yourself in each area and answer the prompts openly, honestly, and authentically. And we start off with health and fitness. So just to give you some examples, number 1 is, what health and fitness goals did you set for yourself at the beginning of the year? Maybe you wanted to gain 20 pounds. Maybe you wanted to lose 20 pounds. Maybe you wanted to just change your diet. Maybe you wanted to eliminate fried foods, or, you know, stop drinking pop, or whatever it was that you were shifting in your life. If you didn't set any goals for this section, skip it. Do not create new goals right now that you didn't set at the top of the year. This is not the area for that. So basically, you're going to go through the self-exploration prompts in each area, and we'll continue to revisit this over the month. But if you get this workbook, if you grab the workbook and you identify the areas that were most active for you in your life, or the ones that you want to work on moving forward, you can skip to those sections directly in the workbook to make it a little bit easier and simpler for you. So go ahead and consider everything that we have gone through thus far. I think that is enough material for you to take to your journal and to have some self-reflection time, perhaps in your morning routine or your evening routine when you're doing your meditation and having your tea and reading your book. Start to contemplate and think about these things. Today is December 7th, so you have tons of time to consider your goals, your successes, your failures, your lessons, and then kind of start getting organized for the upcoming year. You don't want it to catch you off guard, okay? I hope to see you in the Manifest 2024 workshop. Once again, I'm going to be doing that through Patreon. I'm going to help you identify the specific goals that you want to accomplish in 2024. Not only that, I'm going to help you create your own structure, whatever that looks like for you. I'm going to have tons of suggestions. I'm going to give you the reasons why, and I'm going to help you organize and fit everything into the structure, help you identify your major manifestations, your minor manifestations, even gather resources for the journey that you're going to be engaging in. So it's going to be well worth it. Go ahead and check out Sacred Sunday Space or the Dark Art Self-Care series below. If you register for either one of those, then you're automatically going to get invited into the Manifest 2024 workshop. So I hope to see you there. And if you all have any questions, just leave those in the comment section below and I will definitely answer those for you. See you later.